Hi guys, I'm going to read a chapter from my memoirs. It's one of the interludes about things that I've done and things that I feel will help you to know. And this one's on ghost busting. And I'll just be reading it. So relax, have a coffee, and see how you feel about ghost busting. And it's from Memoirs of a Clairvoyant. Let's see how we do this. Interlude, ghost busting. I was becoming known for my clairvoyant gift and interest in the paranormal by 1996. Over the next few years, I would be asked to help people who thought they were haunted, and I was happy to help. Even in the 80s, I'd helped friends who were scared of activity in their houses. Some were full-blown spirits, others were poltergeists, and some were just simply a build-up of energy. Of course, some were simply bad plumbing, loose roof tiles, or something equally practical. I always looked for the practical answer first, and I ruled it out. One of my first instances was when I was about 26. My husband had a good friend, and I became very friendly with his wife. We socialised and had good adventures together. They had a wee boy who was full of energy and had definitely been here before. They lived in a new estate in Bellshill in Lanarkshire. One day I received a call from my friend to ask if I could come over. She said that things were moving in the kitchen. I didn't have children yet and was able to zoom over and see what she was talking about. I entered the house and felt such a mad energy, and the toddler was acting up. I think he was hungry, but my friend couldn't go into the kitchen. I went in and couldn't stop laughing as 3 packets of dried baby food on the counter moved back and forth for apparently no reason. I should have been afraid, but it just struck me as mischievous and funny. I felt that the energy had moved upstairs, so I went to the hallway and the bathroom door was open. The toothbrushes in the tooth mug were moving as well. I remember this so well. I found it quite funny, even though it should have been alarming. I felt so strongly that we had a little child who desperately needed to be given boundaries, so I yelled, "Stop that now, that's naughty." To my surprise, a small boy spirit peeked around the banister and looked at me sullenly. He was dressed in modern clothes and had a full form. He was not unformed poltergeist energy. He truly was a small spirit. He kind of growled at me and disappeared. So I moved about the rooms upstairs until I sensed him in the baby's room. Then I told him that he shouldn't be here and that he was frightening the family. I again told him that he was naughty to do this, and I don't know where this approach came from, but it just seemed like the natural thing to do. He indicated that he liked playing with the baby, so I told him he could as long as he didn't move things, and that when one of his family came for him from the light, that he should take their hand and go with them. I told him that if he created any more mischief until that happened, then I would make him go. He looked at me like a child would look at the teacher who had won the argument and agreed. I told my friend that there was a truce for now. Then I said some prayers to Spirit and asked that the wee boy would be guided by his family to cross over to Spirit. My friend felt the presence for another few days, and then the place became quiet and nothing ever moved again. My friend's baby was like a little beacon of spirit light. He was an old soul who would probably attract spirits during his life. I asked for protection for him and told his mum to connect with me if she ever needed me. A few months later, the husband got a new job in England and our friendship didn't survive the move, but I believe that we all learn things from one another. Sometimes I was called in by a spirit family's members. Sometimes it was by other sources. I can't really say who or what the other sources are, as I've been told many years ago that they would never confirm my connection with them, ever. I connected with these other sources at certain situations. I stopped this work in 2001 when I was told I had no credit history when I tried to set up a new bank account when I left my first husband. The online advisor told me that I was either a ghost or a spy. I simply didn't exist. This terrified me, so I simply said no if asked for help after that. Eventually I got my credit rating back. After the divorce, it was so bad that I sometimes wished I had stayed non-existent. I actually had forgotten that was in the bit of that. I'm not even going to say any more on that because it was quite a scary thing. I'm going to read a bit of this chapter because this is a good one. One night I was called to a flat in East Kilbride after the police had been to investigate a burglary. Except nothing had been taken. Some rooms had been wrecked, but the burglar alarm showed no entry from the outside. The police didn't know what to make of it. They had checked things out but had no conclusion whatsoever. I remembered I'd just returned from my swimming class and was looking forward to watch LA Law when the phone rang. But this was too intriguing for me to say no to, so I quickly took my little ghost-busting kit and headed towards the address. I had told the mum to take her baby and sit with a neighbour, but asked the dad to be with me in case I needed help. The poor man looked terrified as the police had left, and he had all the possibility of a massive poltergeist in his house. To his credit, he stayed and did everything I asked. We opened the door to the flat and I walked in. I was very nervous. The man was scared out of his wits. The main activity was in the bathroom and the baby's room. The bathroom had plants knocked off the window and they'd fallen into the bath. There was a weird white powder splattered everywhere. The baby's room was a disaster. Little ornaments had been pushed off the windowsill and smashed to the floor. The lampshade was askew and it looked as though some kind of mad wind had simply lifted things off their usual habitat. I always looked for the practical solution first, but I admit I was beginning to think that something intense was going on. The adult's bedroom, kitchen and living room were untouched. I checked the bathroom again and found no trace of activity or latent energy. I would have expected to feel something for the state it was in. I asked the dad to come into the baby's room where I felt the energy residue. I can't say he was delighted. I sensed some sort of energy behind the wardrobe which sat at a diagonal angle against the corner. It didn't feel paranormal, but I knew it was there. I indicated to the dad that he would need to move the wardrobe for me while I got ready to interact with the energy. I hope you can imagine this, folks. I felt we were both building on one another's energy. I felt scared and uneasy, and he was the colour of chalk. So I stood with my incense and my spirit bag and slowly moved the wardrobe. All at once, something flew out at me and I screamed. The dad screamed and ran out of the room. My heart was beating so fast. Then I focused on the ghost. It was a little sparrow. I couldn't stop laughing, and the dad came in and helped me catch it and put it out the window. All the mess, all the activity had been a little trapped bird who'd come in the window that morning and had been trapped when the mum shut the window and went off to work. On investigating the white powder in the bathroom, it had come from a bottle of baby powder that had been knocked over by the terrified bird and had rolled behind the cistern. The poor thing must have been terrified, careering around 2 rooms, flying into ornaments and knocking them to the floor. It must also have been more petrified than me as it hid behind the wardrobe. Once again, the paranormal had shown itself to be very normal. And there's loads more to that chapter, but I haven't actually looked at this book for a long while. It's been out for 1.5 years nearly now, so